we're about to see, I'm going to say 60. I don't think anybody had to sell their picks this year. You know, a few years ago, the Bulls lost a second-round pick, and then, like, Punk Porty was the last pick of the draft, even though he was picked 58. I think it's truly all 60. We're about to see 60 names get called where kids are going to see their dreams come true. These kids have worked their butts off for the entire life to hear their name called, and then we're also going to have, hopefully, another team for the entire life to hear their name called, and then we're also going to have, hopefully, another team for the entire life to hear their name called, and then we're also going to have, hopefully, another team. And then we're also going to have, hopefully, another 10, another 20 that get opportunities at Summer League of guys that didn't get drafted that just have an opportunity to make a roster. So I love to see dreams get actualized. And I love to see what type of draft day trades we get, man. Remember, the Derek Queen trade was huge in real time when the Pelicans traded with the Atlanta Hawks. And that pick ends up being number 8. But in real time, we were like, oh, my God, did they just give up a top 5 pick? And again, the Pelicans played well in the second half of the year, and the picks end up being 8. And I guess it's your analysis on whether or not you would rather have Derek Queen or pick number 8 in this year's draft or something in your interpretation. But in their mind, they'd rather have Derek Queen. And I guess there's are rumors that they're trying to get also in the draft other places. So maybe you do see a trade Murphy trade. I'm trying to go my entire podcast without saying that Greek fella name, because I feel like that's all we've been able to talk about over the last month. And when it comes to off-season trades, because everything is held up because of Big Giannis. But maybe we do see that Giannis trade on Tuesday. Hell, maybe by the time this episode is out, Giannis has already been traded, which would be crazy. So I would open this up to y'all. Let me know who your favorite prospects are in this year's draft. Where are your biggest hits and misses? Because let's be real, we all gonna have misses. And if you telling me you ain't had no miss, damn it, give me your information. I'm going to send it to the Bulls so you can be our draft expert. But everybody has had misses. Even the guys I respect the most in this round have had big misses. That's what it is. Because at the end of the day, you can't really account for how much these guys will adjust to the next level. And then the work ethic and the mental aspect of it all. You can watch all the tape in the world. But some players are just not going to work as hard as the guy drafted 7 spots after him. And like 7 spots after him is going to end up with like a better pick. So, you know, it's a lottery to figure out what pick you're going to have, but it also is lottery adjacent to be like, oh, we hit a hole. Here's how I would expect the lottery to go. Off the cup mock. Darren Peterson, number 1. Yeah, I'm buying the buzz that Darren Peterson has made it a point that he wants to go to Washington and Will Dawkins and company. I want it. Pick 2, I'm going to go A.J. DeBonta. Pick 3, I will go Cam Boozer. Pick 4, I'll go Caleb Wilson. Pick 5, I will go Keith Wadler. Pick 6, I'll go Michael Brown. Pick 7, I got you there, Darius. I got you to your spot. Pick 8, I will go Daymar. Pick 9, Brady Burris. Pick 10, Kingston Flemings. Pick 11, Yaxel. Pick 12, man, Johnson didn't get a seat. My goodness. Pick 13 is the Heat, or maybe Milwaukee. If it's Milwaukee, then they take Native Mint at 13. If it's the Heat, they take Steinbach. And then pick 14, I don't know. I'm going to go with the Lopez kid, even though I have not, like I said, I've not seen a single second. Okay. That's the draft. I do want to take a couple minutes here to talk about this season at large. If you are a small ball Katy Beach watcher, you may also watch the other content that we produce here at Enjoy Basketball, whether it be numbers on the board, whether it be Tee It Up, whether it be the Enjoy Basketball YouTube channel, whether it be WAG Talk. We got a lot of independent properties here that we're really proud of. This season was different than any other season on the content side that we've had. As y'all know, we were lucky enough to ink a partnership with NBC. Love that partnership. Shout out to the team over there. They've been so great to us. And with that, we had to adjust our schedule. If you have been a small ball viewer, you know that I have been doing 1 time a week on this show for quite some time. But on Numbers on the Board, we had gone from a 2 times a week show, which was Tuesdays and Saturdays, to 2 shows on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. For 7 months straight, we did 5 shows a week collectively. And I had small ball, and then I also had a radio show. So I was doing 7 shows a week. 7 shows a week, which the actual process of the show, not hard at all. If you think about it, again, I do my research, I make it run the show, and I turn on the camera and I yap about basketball. I am not complaining about the luxury that I have in this position. What I am talking about is how the content ended up overlapping. That makes sense. Where I do believe there are times when it comes to numbers or hell, even small ball, where even though we put together a run the show, we know we're going to talk about and so on, we come into the office and we don't produce the best possible show. And I think part of that is the volume of everything. Especially when you get to the point where, like, sometimes in the dead of the regular season, it becomes difficult to come up with a 2-hour show, about stuff that we don't even know if y'all are really watching. And then we get to the postseason, it becomes even more difficult because we have a day, let's say we have a game on Wednesday, boom, Thursday morning episode, we talk about that game, and that's cool, but maybe there's no game on Thursday, then we come into Friday and be like, okay, what do we do with this? And the simple answer to it is, like, get creative, Kenny. And that is what we attempted to do all season long. But even with the 4 brains working together, I do feel like there were times where we were creative with the episode idea, but the actual content that we produced maybe wasn't up to our standard. So I tell you all that to say that the 2026-2027 season, we are reflecting on what we did in 2025-2026, seeing what worked, seeing what didn't work, and I think we already have an idea that volume of shows didn't really work. Because we convinced ourselves beforehand that it made sense because there have been times throughout the history of our show where big news happened and on a Wednesday. We just filmed on Tuesday. Damn it. We don't have an opportunity to talk about this big news until Saturday. And if you add the extra shows, big news happened on Wednesday. Thursday morning, hey, so-and-so got traded. Hey, so-and-so, he's 81. Like, we had opportunities to have those episodes on the fly. When it was on a day-to-day basis, I feel like it just didn't really work as well as we wanted it to. And the numbers show this, the response and the feedback from the community showed this as well. And I just think that we want it so that Numbers on the Board is a show that you don't want to miss an episode. And I do think that throughout the season there were episodes, whether it be a Thursday or a Friday episode, specifically Thursday. That's the one that really got to people. Where the audience, you guys, just felt like, I was just miss this one. It's like you got to do what you want to do, but like we don't want you to feel that way. We want you to feel like this is an essential part of your basketball viewing experience. And I think part of that is to lower the amount of shows that we're doing on a weekly basis and make it so that those shows that we do produce are really special and they can be really entertaining for 2 to 3 hours, however long we want it to go. So we are looking at stuff like that. I went on to Kay Adams' show a couple weeks back, and she asked me the question, like, what's next for Enjoy Basketball? And I said, like, what's next for us is that we want to have Enjoy Football, we want to have Enjoy Baseball, Enjoy Golf, Enjoy Football, and so on. And that is still true, but I probably, in that interview, should have said, we're not ready to do that right now. Because the amount of DMs and text messages and emails that I got from creators in the space saying, hey, I want to be a part of the team was so crazy, which makes me feel like we here at Enjoy are building something special that so many people want to work with us. But I also have to tell all those people, we're not there just yet. Reminder that Enjoy Basketball as a company truly still is a startup company still, y'all. Like, though we have been in business for 4 years and we create content for that 4 years, we are still pretty early on in our development. And while it would be amazing to sign your favorite football creators or some of the other favorite basketball creators, we're just not in a position to do that just yet. We're lucky enough to be able to pay the people that already work here, hopefully a wage that they really are happy about. But as far as branching out, we're probably a little bit of ways from it. But I can't wait once we get there. Like, I don't want to put a fake timeline for y'all to say, hey, by the 2027 football season, we'll be ready to do it. I don't want to say that because I don't know. I literally don't know. Part of being a business owner of a startup, I don't know what next year looks like at all. Yeah, I can try to project. I can try to hope for some things, but you never really know. So, yeah, we're figuring some things out. We've been lucky enough to do some partnerships with the NBA, which is one of our big, like, who would have been able to predict that we'd have a true partnership with the league? Like, there's so many people that create content around the sport, around these leagues, the W and the NBA. but you never really think that you're going to be able to have a partnership with the people that are making those decisions. And we've been lucky enough to do that, and that has opened up so many doors to create some cooler content. So, like, this whole offseason for us, whether it be me and the 4 guys that do numbers, or me and the many producers that are on the team, or our content lead, or the other owners of the company, we're taking this offseason to be like, okay, what is the craziest thing we can do and get away with? And I can't wait to figure out what exactly that looks like and what exactly that answer is. But I got a notes in my phone where I have some of those pie in the sky ideas of content pieces and people I would love to bring to the team. And I can't wait to see if we can make that a possibility, man. So yeah, 2026-2027 season, expect the content that we produce to feel, I don't know, feel better. I want everybody to feel happy about it. I want the people that are producing the content to feel happy. I want people that are watching the content to feel happy. All of the above. In 2026-27, I am guaranteeing on my Charles Barkley shit, I am guaranteeing that will be the case. So, yeah. Listen, remember what we went to the NBA Finals as a company. Every time I've ever been credentialed in my life, it would say Kenny Beecham or Kentrell Beecham. Sometimes they go government, sometimes they go shorter name. And it'll say House of Highlights or Turner Sports or NBC or ESPN/Omaha. This is the first, I'm going to get this frame. The NBA Finals, it said Kenny Beecham, and then my publication was Enjoy Basketball. Blows my mind that was a thing. So we're going to the NBA Draft, and we're going to have another one of those, and in theory, it's supposed to say Kenny Beecham. Enjoy Basketball. Man, we really are doing this thing. So we got that, and then after the draft, we're going to Summer League. And Summer League is my favorite trip of the year. Again, my favorite time of the year is the draft. This is my first time going to the draft. My favorite trip of the year is Summer League. It is something we all look forward to so much because though it is still basketball, it is so much more laid back than any of the other content that we produce throughout the regular season. We're like, dude, every time we just get on the hotel elevator, it's like, oh, snap, cool flags in the elevator. You know, like it's just craziness that happens in Vegas. Almost every NBA mind you can think of is there at the same time. The networking opportunities is ridiculous. And while I will say I have an important networker in the previous times of my life, I think that in San Antonio a few months ago or last month, I got better. Last month, that was like a week ago. I got better in that networking part, and I can't wait for Summer League to be like just talking to people and just like, I have been always a guy that's been afraid to walk up to somebody whose work I admire. In Vegas, I walked up to many people like, hey, yo, I'm just introducing myself to Kenny Beecham, love your work. Boom, that's it, whole conversation. So I can't wait to do that. And I would always recommend if you are somebody that is trying to get into the basketball space as a scout, as an editor, as a writer, as an anything, Summer League is a place to be. You never know who you're going to run into. And I don't know if content groups are still the same, but when I was growing up, it just made sense to create a content group with people that are like-minded and like in size when it comes to like their audiences. Or, you know, a lot of the groups that you know and love today, most of those guys, when they started together, probably had the same amount of subscribers or close to. It's like, hey, let's do a video together. I'll send my fan base, you send your fan base, and now we can cross-pollinate, and boom, just like that, we have a huge audience together. That's the way I've been looking at Summer League as well, where like if you're an independent writer that you really love your stuff and you're struggling to have people get your eyes on it, you may find another writer that has a little bit of a base that, you know, y'all can work on something together, and now you guys are just gaining traction and gaining fan bases that way. And you never know who you're going to run into, man. You never know you're going to run into. You never know the content either. Like, even if you're a person that is not making content yet, that you want to make content, please do. Especially in the NBA space. Because the doors are more open now than any time ever. Where I don't want to name drop, but there are people that have been YouTube scouts just out of the love of the game. YouTube scouts that have got real scouting jobs for real NBA teams based on a YouTube resume, y'all. Go create the content, man. Be okay with looking silly. Be okay with looking silly. That's like one of the biggest things people tell me. I'm just not comfortable with being wrong, or I'm not comfortable with looking silly. Be okay with it. Because for every time you look silly and you miss on the draft pick, there could be 7 times you looked great. Be be okay with the misses, man. Be okay with the misses. Create content. Even if you just love the game, but you don't want it to be your profession, or you're not sure if you want it to be your profession, create the content. Who is it? Colin and Samir, right? Those are the guys? I gotta Google this. If I'm not mistaken, they have a hat, a piece of merch that says like press publish. The greatest advice you give to a creator in life is to press publish. You never know. Hopefully enjoyed this episode of Small Ball with Kenny Beecham. Way more laid back. I do want to say that we are going on a brief hiatus for the postseason or the offseason here on Small Ball. Again, we will be doing shows. We will still be doing Kenny for Real and so on. But I do think that when big news happen, it makes more sense for me to go onto numbers on the board to talk about it with Kenny for Real versus Small Ball. And I do want to rework Small Ball just a little bit. But that's a conversation for another day. If you enjoyed the episode, leave it a like, subscribe. I'll see y'all next time, baby. Man, this is one hell of a season. One hell of a season.
If you're a mom, then you know just how expensive it is to feed a house full of kids. Luckily, if you take just 2 minutes to sign up, you can get spotted up to $200 through Chime without having to worry about any overdraft fees. So now you can treat your kids to their favorite snacks stress-free.
The last time you guys saw a video similar to this, we were picking the worst song out of 10 out of 10 albums. In this video, we're choosing the best song on different perfect albums. And this doesn't mean that we believe the albums are necessarily perfect. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But the community believes that they are to a certain extent. So let us know which song do you think is the best out of all of these. And make sure to smash the like button if you enjoy the video. And let's get into this.
16 albums, Lou.
Yes, sir.
16, honestly, for all of these are classics. And like Lou said, to a certain extent, I don't know if all of them are classics, but
A lot of them. Most.
I'm looking at this list right now, and maybe there's only one or two that are debatable, but for the most part, guys, we're going to be going through a bunch of different albums, and the first one is going to be GKMC. Honestly, I don't want to spend much time here, to be honest with you. We all know it's Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, the way that it ties into Section 80 records, and comes back in for GKMC, the two-parter, bro. It's a fucking beautiful record.
What else could you, not be mad at someone having for their pick? Because I feel like most people would say Sing About Me. I would too. I think that's one of the greatest rap songs ever. But,
that's an undeniable pick, though, and we've been doing content on this song for years and years and years, and we've explained it, but I think
Mad City,
Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe as well. I think Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, if, you're into just, song structure and accessibility, the writing on that is incredible.
Yeah.
It's also a really unique record for the entire track list, bro. The hook is fucking incredible, arguably one of the best in Kendrick's catalog, and honestly, when you were debating Jay, right, in their previous video, the Imposter one, I felt like saying, especially when it came to debates about Kendrick not being good at hooks, go to GKMC, go to Butterfly, there's so many examples of ridiculously good hooks, and I think that Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe has it, but it's Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst all day, every day. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there are a couple others you could mention, I guess, but I've seen some people say, Real and Swimming Pools, great songs.
They wouldn't be the top
number one. All right, next up, The Life of Pablo by Kanye West. We've never given our take on the best song on this album as far as I can remember. I don't think this is a 10 on 10 album, though. I think that there is, a little bit of a lull in that track list with, the highlights, lowlights.
Just an electric album.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Loads of great records, bro. Honestly, if you wanted to go with Ultralight Beam, for example, as the best song on this, because you love the Chance feature and you love the choir production, then I'd say okay. Or if you wanted to go with a Father Stretch My Hands Part 1 because you love the Metro Boomin production, you think it's the most exhilarating song on the track list, that would be valid. For me, though, it came down to two songs, and I think you know what my pick is ultimately going to be. I was debating between No More Parties in LA and St. Pablo. Ultimately, though, I went with St. Pablo on this one.
You did?
I did, but
yeah, I feel like maybe it was off camera, maybe it wasn't. I feel like the pick was always No More Parties in LA because I always had St. Pablo here.
But back to this song for the best written Kanye songs in his catalog. Honestly, I think that looking even at the outro of this album, it's one of the best outros in his catalog. And, the sound features fucking incredible.
It's also fucking insane that this song almost didn't make the album. This was an addition 2 months later, and it ends up being one of Kanye West's best ever songs. That's wild.
There's a special feeling with this record, though. I think you could argue that the rap is more exhilarating than something like No More Parties in LA, and maybe you prefer the Madlib production, but when it comes to this, though, no, I think that this is more exhilarating.
This is that fucking professional Kanye West who's just being completely transparent. Even the quotable thought-provoking. I'm not out of control. I'm just not in their control. This generation's closest thing to Einstein. Don't worry about me. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I can see 1,000 years from now in real life. I wasn't supposed to make it past 25 and call back if you don't care. Like, just incredible lyricism. And I just love that, like, he's being transparent even at his own expense, bro. Like, this is one of the most vulnerable Ye songs where he's like, yo, like, I'm actually in debt right now. Like, I can't help myself but to give to others. And also calling himself a genius, but simultaneously, like, humbling himself before God. I just love how the thoughts spill out in such a raw and filtered way. The flows, the different tones he tackles, it's genius, bro.
It's definitely genius. Yeah, that's not
Sanfa on the verse and the hook.
one of my favorite sounds of all time for sure. All right, the Eminem Show is up next. This is a track list that is absolutely stacked, and you could go in so many different areas with this. I think I know where you're going. You know where I'm. Yeah, I went with Square Dance on this one.
Really? I thought you were going to take Drifts here.
No, I was going to go with that one. That was a close second, but I think I was going to go with Square Dance.
Yeah, so why Square Dance?
Love the production, love the hook on this one. Just exhilarating from start to finish. Puts me at the edge of my seat, and I think it's one of the greatest Eminem performances that I've ever heard in his entire career. So, all jokes aside, I'm out of here. I'm not doing that. Listen,
what are you considering? That's what I want to know.
I was looking at Sing for the Moment, bro. I love the Aerosmith sample flip on this one. I like the interpolation. I think that's fucking great. I was also looking at Without Me. I don't think that could be overlooked, even if it's the most popular song on the track list.
I was looking at
performance is fucking wonderful. So,
Way America Business, Even Out My Closet, Say Goodbye Hollywood.
Say Goodbye Hollywood is maybe the most underrated track on this entire album.
Okay, let's try to guess each other's pick. I think from the business.
I think even went to like yeah. So I think it comes down to like those songs that you mentioned, right? You could even put America in here. Like you said, Say Goodbye to Hollywood. For me, Business, I think it really encapsulates like what that Eminem Show era was for me, right? Him making a major comeback. Let's get back to business. Gotham City meets Batman again and Robin. So the whole Dr. Dre and Eminem duo need to come back and they need to cook again because MTV views are down and we need to start putting the industry on blast again. And it's my favorite beat on the entire album, to be honest with you. I love the Dr. Dre drums on here. I like how dark and ominous the production feels. The three verses are so well calculated, and I wouldn't be mad at it until I collapse because that's maybe the hungriest performance on the entire album for sure.
So I feel like that's why I chose it. It feels like this album is larger than life. Like, it's very loud. It's stadium-sized music, and for that reason, I feel like the best song should be the biggest anthem on the album. And for me, it's definitely Till I Collapse featuring Nate Dogg. The opening notes of the song, bro, can set a crowd fucking ablaze.
Do you feel like this is like sort of like this and Graduation have certain parallels where there's a lot of anthem music on this album? Like, even think about a
rock influence.
Yeah, and Sing for the Moment as well.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen packed out crowds, hundreds of thousands of people recite these lyrics live, and it just always gives me like that feeling of Eminem is that generational artist that we know him to be because of music like this.
100%. Yeah. These are always going to be some of his most like in-demand songs for live performances, and I think that with this one, just that dark electric guitar line with the somber keys, it just creates this chilling atmosphere. And these are like Eminem literally places his name alongside the greats of hip hop, and to me, this was like his induction into like my Hall of Fame. Like, okay, after he spat these verses, he's one of the greatest ever fucking.
The Nate Dogg hook is bro. It's just it's a ridiculous record.
All right, next up, Heroes and Villains by Metro Boomin.
See, this was up for debate.
This is one where like my answers probably changed a couple times since the album's come out.
Okay, so let me ask you, what was initially your number one then?
My number one initially was probably Future, because that was like, to me, that marked like the revival of Future. Like, that's when he started to enter his second peak, and he needed Metro Boomin to do it.
That's honestly, that's what I went with.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you.
That's
so
what I went
good.
with. I was looking at that, or I was considering Feel the Fire. I was looking at Trance.
Yeah.
The production on there.
Too Many Nights also.
Too Many Nights as well. But what did you go with? You didn't go with Superhero.
The biggest outlier on the album compared to everything else, Feel the Fire. I think that's the best song on here.
You know what? I will give you that one. When you look at this track list and you go to Feel the Fire, the backing performances on this are the best out of the entire album from any other feature. The Takeoff posthumous feature is fucking incredible as well. Wonderful stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like the thing is too with it is just that for Metro, like the bag you're finding Metro in, where he's in this unmatched like soul sample bag, but he's blending it with those hard hitting trap drums. Like, it's him bridging two sounds and eras together perfectly. Like, I could see like an old head fucking with the song, but also a new generation like hip hop listener. You know what I mean?
I think the most underrated part of this song as well is like the beat drop when you get those drums that kick in, like halfway through Rocky's verse. I really love this record, and like you said, it is an outlier. That was a consideration, but like you said, for Superhero, to me, it's one of the greatest collaborations that's ever been formed between Metro and Future. Iconic duo, especially for our generation of rap music that was coming up, and I feel like it's the most exciting record on the album as well, where like you know when those horns come on, like what you're getting yourself into right away. We've seen it performed live as well. Incredible song, and it's Future at his most braggadocious. Well, that's the type of bag you want to see Future in, and I think, like you said, this prompted Future to go on another massive run, bro, where it's like, okay, like I fuck with the melodic records, and I could respect, Future to start attack, different sounds and him going to different areas, but like this is him when he's saying fucking Homelander, bro. Yeah. This is Future and his Homelander.
This was like the precursor to We Don't Trust You. Also, fucking love that song, and with Fuel the Fire again, like you mentioned, the alphabet rhymes are insane, and it makes me miss Takeoff listening to that. Like that was one of like the purest showcases of his talent was that feature. But next up, 444 by Jay-Z, 10-song album, all killer, no filler.
I think we got the same one.
I was debating this though. Like the song that I almost ended up picking, which I think you ended up choosing probably. Which again, hats off to you. Amazing fucking song, Marcy Me.
That's what I ended up.
Yeah. That's not what I went with, but I respect it.
What did you go with?
Title track.
Yeah,
title track is
yeah,
like,
that or even Family Feud. Those are the songs that I think you have to look at on this track list. Even the story of OJ. But honestly, this whole fucking track list is stupid.
Yeah, it's
really ridiculous.
All doesn't make sense.
But Marcy Me, I've been going into my What's Going On bag, especially this summer. One of my favorite albums of all time, and to see him pay homage to the late Marvin Gaye was not only incredible, but the way that he did the sample flip and the interpolation was so fucking great. And especially Jay-Z coming from that area and him being in that whole interpolation itself and flipping into Marcy, I think was fucking genius. Some of the best lyrics, in my opinion, on the entire album. Streets is my artery, the vein of my existence. I'm the Gotham City heartbeat, talking about New York and how he always carries that flame and how he brings energy to the city. To me, this feels like it's almost a bit of like a heart of the city type of record for me, but Jay-Z in his 40s to a certain extent, where
more like mellow and reflective. Yeah.
But him also like being a bit more like, I would say, confident in the fact that like he's also reasserting the fact that it's his throne and will always be his throne. He will always be the king of New York. But him remembering what it took to get there, what Marcy did for him, and his upbringing. So I think for me, like it'll always be Marcy Me, and I don't think this pick is gonna change.
Love that song. For me, yeah, best of the title track. I feel like you wouldn't have the album if it wasn't for this song because it inspired the entire project. And I mean, we could talk about all the phenomenal sample choices from No Idea on this album, but I love the way that the woman's sample here, her words actually echo Hope's sentiments of like, I'm letting you down every day, why do I keep running away? And then the next vocal sample you get is like the sweetest weeping I've ever fucking heard from a woman. And again, the words echoing how Hope is feeling, I'm never going to treat you like I should. And to me, this is the most vulnerable Jay-Z song of his entire career, bro. Like, he's apologizing to his wife for being unfaithful in front of the entire world. He's serious fucking nuts to do that.
And I remember when this song released, like, obviously hip-hop media was in a different place, but it was a huge bombshell, right? Because on previous albums from Jay, especially when you look at Magna Carta or some of the stuff that came before that, Watch the Throne, it was Jay-Z and his, like, bag of, obviously braggadocious with a lot of women, him popping bottles, him living this luxurious and outlandish lifestyle, and all of the sin that comes with that. And
that's
I
it.
think
so
when
now to be like, I'm gonna pick myself apart so that we can heal and move forward. Like, I admire the courage. I admire just that nuanced perspective, and even like the lyrics just hit the deepest on the song. And if my children knew, I don't even know what I would do. If they look at me the same, I would probably die with all the shame.
Yeah, took from my child to be born to see through a woman's eyes.
Yeah.
Took for these